Okay, good morning, everybody. We go to the chitas of today. We're holding the portion of Nitzavim. Holding on chapter 30, verse number 1. V'haya, and it will come to pass. Yavi alecha kol hadvarim eila, all these things will come upon you. Abracha, the blessings, v'aklala, and the curses. Asher nasat lefnech, which I'm giving to you, v'yeshevei salavecha, you should put to your heart. Like all the nations, all the nations which God, your God, has banished. And you'll be inspired to return to God. You'll hearken to his voice. Whichever I'm commanding you today, you and your sons, with all your heart, with all your soul. And then God, your God, will bring back you from your exiles. And he'll have mercy upon you. And you will once again gather you. He'll gather you again. Mashiach's going to come and he'll gather you from all the nations. Which God dispersed you, Shama there. Ashi says it should have said Veheshiv. It's written Vishav, which means God, your God, will return from exile. Thus, our rabbis derive from here that the divine presence is so to speak together with the Jewish people in the troubles of exile. And as he stipulated that when he will be redeemed, he will also be redeemed. When they will be redeemed, when the Jewish people redeemed, he'll be redeemed also. And moreover, he will return currently with them. We can further explain this phraseologically to imply that the day of the gathering of the exiles is so great and so complicated that it is as if he himself has taken each person by hand. To look to Echad, God's going to take each Jew by his hand from wherever he is. Similar which it says, you will gather together one by one. We find this concept regarding other people returning from exile as well. I will bring back the exiles of Moav. So the Eibush himself will do that. And if somebody is in exile, the end of the heavens, from Boka, from Boka, from there God will gather you. From there He'll take you out of exile. And the Eibush will bring you to the land which your fathers inherited. And you will inherit it. And God will show you kindness, and He'll multiply you more than your fathers. Verse number 6. And God will circumcise as levavcha, your heart, as levav zadecha, in the hearts of your children. V'yavas Hashem alekecha, to love the Lord your God. V'chol levavcha, with all your heart. V'chol nafshecha, with all your soul. L'man chayecha, for the sake of your very life. And that completes the Chumash for today. We now go to the Tanya of today. We are starting the 17th letter of the Alter Rebbe. Again, this is a Kabbalistic letter. Important concepts of Chassidus are in this letter. Noida, it is known, the Basarus Latata, an awakening from below, when a person arouses within his heart, Midas HaChesed, the attribute of kindness, V'rachmanis, and the attribute of mercy. A person awakens within his mind these are concepts. Al kol atzich hanachmim, on every person that needs to have mercy. When a person wakens up his mind upon that, on that person, so what happens is, Chassidus says, Kabbalah says, is awakening from above, all of Rachman Rabin, to have to come upon the person, to arouse upon the person a great compassion, Makar Rachman, the source of compassion. So taught in chapter 45, part 1, this not refer to Ava Rachamim, the limited level of compassion that derives from the measure of involvement in the world, but the level of divine compassion of Harachamim. The transcendence of all limitation. That's what we're trying to create. We're trying to reach up to the source of Rachamim, not to the one who does it, not to the concept of the aspect of doing Rachamim, but the Eibishter who is the Baal Rachamim. To endow upon him fruits of his deeds in this world. Well, the principle of his actions remains intact for the world to come. Alter Rebbe now goes on to explain that the fruits of this world refers not only to physical blessing, but also to insights and spiritual delights in Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. For even the Garden of Eden is considered this world in relationship to the world to come. Be'ezat Hashem Mashiach. That's the real reward. The real reward is not even Gan Eden. The real reward is Olam Haba, is Mashiach times, world to come. Come the revival of the dead, Chias HaMesim. It's true that the relationship to our present physical world, Gan Eden, is called the world to come, because it follows and rewards the good deeds performed in this world. Nevertheless, when compared to the actual world to come, all worlds, even the spiritual worlds of Gan Eden, is termed as this world. So real Olam Haba, real reward is not even Gan Eden. Real reward is Olam Haba. Kol Yisrael Yashtam Chelek Le'Olam Haba. This is because all words can aspire even now to comprehension. This being a word denoting revelation. A contrast, as the Alter Rebbe will soon explain, the perception of divinity in the world to come at the time of the revival of the dead will transcend all levels of comprehension. There's going to be such a revelation. It's going to be a mila. It's going to be above and beyond the comprehension of that revelation. Pirush. The Alter Rebbe now goes and explains that your reward of your chesed, you get fruits in this world. Keren, the principle is Olam Haba, is the world to come. What's the difference in Peres and Keren? What's the difference between the fruits and the principle? This means the fruits refers to the flow of the benevolence which is bestowed by the source of compassion and the fountain and of life, blessed be he by God. Shech as lamata matam comes down to the slower world. The the evolution of the worlds. Now, ma'ila lamata, from above to below. Until it ultimately clothes itself in this physical world. Blessing people with children, life, and livelihood, and the like. So all these gifts, both spiritual and material, are deemed as fruits. For just as fruits are not for the essence of the tree, but fall and are replaced, so too does this flow of benevolence undergo a transformation from world to world, and therefore it's limited. Because once it's revelation, it's limited. Akeren, what is the principle? The commandments are very wide. It should have said mitzvah in a plural. This would have been the case. It very simple meant to say the commandments in general are without end. Began rechava in the movie, even the word wide is not understood. A more commonly expected term would have been great, immense, lofty. What means wide? And a mitzvah means one mitzvah. Because there's one mitzvah that is unlimited. And the mitzvah tzedakah is the mitzvah of tzedakah. It's a singular term, mitzvah, your mitzvah. What is your mitzvah? What is, so to say, God's mitzvah? The mitzvah of tzedakah. She mitzvahs havaya mamish, which tzedakah is the mitzvah of the Eibush himself. Because the Eibush does tzedakah. It's God's tzedakah. What is God? That God gives life to the world is a tzedakah. But that the Eibush does continuously, performs all times by animating this world and giving life to this world. The Mashiach comes. He'll continue to exceeding in the magnitude and intensity. As it's written, and they shall observe the path of God to do tzedakah. Meaning tzedakah is here described as the path of God. Like a road which one travels from one town to another. Tzedakah is the derech. Tzedakah doesn't bring down over here a light that is mamala kalam. Bring down a light that's seva kalam. It's an encompassing light. That's why the keren is going to be left for later, because right now we cannot see the encompassing light. Right now we don't see it. We see the mamala kalam. We see the light that comes within the world. So where do I get the reward of seva kalam? That's what we really want. We want seva kalam, and that's going to happen. Mashiach comes. But right now, which comes down into the world and revealed through an awakening from below, the Torah tzedakah, with the Torah tzedakah, the chesed, chinam, and the unlimited will be revealed in Tchias HaMesim by the resurrection of the dead. Yes, it says, yes, it is. It's a magnitude of force will infinitely exceed. Whether you're in the higher Gan Eden, the lower Gan Eden, the Oid Havaya, the Ein Sof, that's going to be revealed when Mashiach comes, especially Tchias HaMesim. Not really Mashiach comes, it's Tchias HaMesim. When the resurrection of the dead will come, that will be an Oid that we Pashut can't explain what that will be at this present. The proof is that all the souls of the Tzadikim and all the Tanoim who preceded them and all the prophets who preceded the Tanoim, all of them are in the highest levels of Gan Eden. Seemingly, all of them are still missing something. And that's why the only Tchias HaMesim, the Pashut, come down again into this world. They will vest themselves in their bodies. Losses of a Mashiach when Tchias HaMesim comes. And they're going to get up, they're going to arrive again in the time of resurrection. Let it be Shechina, to Pashut, to splendor in the Shechina, in the presence of God, which are then created to the world, to the souls, as they vested within their bodies. So it is thus clear, if the neshamas that are in Gan Eden, and officially that's sitting and splendoring in the shadow of God, it's not enough. It's not going to be there. That's not their real reward. Mashiach is going to come, and then there'll be Tchias HaMesim, and these neshamas are going to come down into a body and again come into this world. Thus, this revelation will transcend a far degree revelation that can be attained in the higher Gan Eden. So that is the worthwhile for the souls which are lofty situated to descend and to clothe themselves in a physical body in order to come and receive it. So this revelation is purely an act of tzedakah and a gratitude and kindness on God's part. For man's arousal from below is no way intense enough to draw down such an immense degree of revelation. His spiritual service only as a vessel which enables us to receive it. Rebbe now goes on to explain what exactly is about this, the revelation, attainable in the world to come, that makes the revelation attainable even in the higher Gan Eden. That makes the revelation attainable even in the higher Gan Eden in pale in comparison. And that the answer is, again, Seva Kalam and Malakalam. If you sha'ar v'agila shebegan Eden b'chinas Malakalam. Manifestation and radiance of Gan Eden are all on the level of a Malakalam and the light which permeates all worlds. Meaning the muted divine life force that contracts, descends, and diminishes according to the capacity and the capacity of the particular created being. That's Mamala Kalam. So even Gan Eden in paradise is still Mamala Kalam. The way the Eibishter reveals himself in that world. Shubachinis Estalshus. This is all the concept of Seder Stalshus. So that's the diminishment of the life force in an evolving progression from one rung to another. Tzimtzumim atzumim, by immense contractions. As it's brought down in the Zohar, the Gemara actually, Yud Nivra Elam Abba, that with the letter Yud was created the world to come. Elam Abba is Gan Eden. The letter signifies the level of supernal Chachma, the first of the 10 spheres of the world of Atzilus, Anikra Eden Elyon, which refers to the higher Gan Eden of Atzilus, that surpasses the level Gan Eden in so much as Gan Eden implies only a garden derived from Eden, not Eden itself. So you have Gan Eden. You have Gan that comes from Eden. So the Gan Eden is only the garden of Eden. So Eden is higher than the Gan itself, the garden itself. Which ultimately evolves and becomes vested in all the worlds, meaning Chachma transcends and invests itself in all the worlds in order to continuously create and animate them. As it's written, everything is created in wisdom, even Gan Eden. As it's written that Chachma animates, again indicating that Sfira of Chachma animates all worlds. And in Gan Eden, it manifests comprehension to each according to his measure. And that's why even in Gan Eden, there's levels of Gan Eden, even Atzilus. Even the higher Gan Eden, even the lower Gan Eden, there's different levels which the Neshama goes to the level that he can receive his Chachma. While the life force that animates from Chachma is concealed from all other worlds, manifesting Gan Eden, so that the soul are able to apprehend the essence of divinity. As it's known, what it means that you can have pleasure in Gan Eden. The einig, the delight that the neshama has in Gan Eden, because he has the einig, he has from the understanding of Torah. And he learned in this world. As the Gemara says, where does a person comes to Gan Eden and he has his learning in his hand? Because whatever you learned in this world, that's what you're going to have taining in Gan Eden. If you learn nothing, then what kind of taining in Gan Eden you have? It is B'Zohar HaKadosh Bar Shlach, as it's brought down in the Zohar in the portion of Shlach. The Zohar speaks there about the various heavenly academies. There's a Moshe Academy, Heavenly Academy, so too the academy which Miriam teaches, right? There are different yeshivas l'mayla. There are different houses of study above, heichalos, different chambers. And you're going to go to the chamber, which, after 20 years, you're going to go to the chamber that fits your capability of comprehension and Torah. So it's going to still be levels. You're going to come to Gan Eden, and you're going to realize that there are greater levels than you that you cannot reach. That's why we always try to push the neshama to have alaliyas on neshama. we here in the world try to give the neshama l'mayla some aliyah, some elevation. So by us doing things, it gives that neshama some elevation, so it can go higher in Gan Eden. Because he cannot go higher. He cannot. There's no avodah of the neshama itself in Gan Eden. The service of the neshama came to an end. Now the neshama cannot do anything more. Can't do mitzvahs. Can't go learn new Gemara. But whatever the neshama has, he has. That's what he goes up with. It's brought down when the neshama goes to the Maila. What does he go with? He goes with his mitzvahs, his Torah mitzvahs. That's all he can go with. Nothing else. But even though that alone, the neshama realizes, wow, I could have got much better. I could have been in a higher level. I could have got higher. Now the neshama is stuck. And therefore the neshama waits for us in this world to do things for it. Tzedakah for it, to learn Torah for it. He put his name on it, whatever, do whatever he could for the neshama. So then the neshama should have an aliyah, to kaddish for it, etc. And the Gemara, in reference to the incident of Rabba bar Nachmani, the Gemara describes that a legal debate between God and the Heavenly Academy. Famous Gemara, ritual purity in a situation that was doubtful whether the beheaded preceded the appearance of white hair or whether the white hair preceded the beheaded, the laws of impurity. It was agreed that Rabba Nachmani would render the decisive opinion because of his singular knowledge in the field of Negoyim, in the field of this leprosy and oilless. So they had to ask him. So they couldn't come to a conclusion, Lamaila. Why? Because he cannot come with new inventions, Lamaila. You had to come down. There's other place in the Gemara. Rabba was Osas, who asked the question, Torah Leba Shamayim, that's the famous expression. The Torah is not in heaven. It is in heaven. But the expounding of Torah is dafka in this world. So the Kubash Tzazir, the Alter Rebbe explains this specific dispute, as well as accounts of the head academy in general. At any rate, the relation of tenable and Gan Eden is that Mamala Kalama cannot be developed. So whatever is there, which only a limited degree of light filters through. Dafka in this world, la hagdil Torah la hadira. Dafka in this world, we can take the Torah and make it greater. Expound upon the Torah. That's only done in this world. Because this world, even though we have a greater revelation of Ein Sof in this world. We have a Sof of Kalam in this world. That's the greatness of this world. That it has within it Malak Kalam, but it has within it Sof of Kalam. And the Gan Eden is only a Malak Kalam. It's a very high degree of a Malak Kalam. And that's why it's a great oynik to the Neshama. Because there's a greater degree of a Malak Kalam in this world. I don't feel the Torah. I don't feel the godliness. So in the upper world, Gan Eden, when you go away from the body, you're going to feel the godliness. It's going to be a limit to what you learn in this world. But now, when Mashiach comes, and there'll be Tchesa Mason, the Gilui of Seva Kalama. That's even higher than Gan Eden. That's Eden. Be the Gilui of true Tainig. So whatever the Tainig they have, even though there's great Tainig, great delight in the world to come, that delight is Malakalama, is a limited light. And we reveal whatever that means. That's why it's incomprehensible what that means. Gili HaSeviv, the revelation of the infinite light. It's above comprehension what it even means. That's not going to be, it's hard to comprehend. How is that possible? It'll be limitless and endless. As brought down in the beginning of this Tanya, chapter 48, be it in the Seva Kalam, the explanation of Seva Kalam. The word Seva Kalam, encompassing light, it's like a circle, a halo. That's only a name. It resembles a sphere, heaven forbid. The superior order of light does not encompass all worlds, especially so that it surrounds creation and remains exterior to it. Over there, the Alter Rebbe explains that Seva Kalaman means that's not here. Seva Kalaman is here. Ein Seif is here like Mamala Kalam. Why is it called encompassing light? Why is it one called an inner light, Mamala Kalam, and an inner light, and one's called an encompassing light, even though both are here right now? Seva Kalam was here, Mamala Kalam was here, right over here. Called Seva Kalam because it's not a bislapshus, meaning it doesn't come within it. The thing, it's not revealed within it. Mamala, there's some revelation of an inner light that is revealed. We know that we have an energy. We can feel the mitzvah also. We can feel the goodness of the mitzvah. We can feel the delight of a mitzvah too. We can't really feel the essence of the light of the mitzvah because it's there, but it's not b'derech hastah. It doesn't come within it. It's so high. That means it's such a great revelation that it cannot be. No garment fits it. No body fits it. That's the meaning. Some people learn Seva Kalam means a compass. He doesn't come within a person. Alter Rebbe disagreed. He says it's only She'al Mushal. That's why we use Seva Kalam is the best word we can use for the concept. That to explain the difference between a Mala Kalam, between a light that fills the world and a light that compasses the world. It's above the world. So we use the term Seva Kalam, which means surrounding, but it's really not surrounding him at all. It's within him as the other thing is within him. Rather, it means that it's not invested, implying adaptation. So there's no adaptation. Now, that gives an analogy of a human being between Chachma and Ratzin. Chachma adapts to a vessel that has actually a vessel, a brain. And then the Chachma comes in each vessel separately. So you have mind over emotions. Because the Chachma is supposed to come into the Midas. So that your Chesed should be directed by Chachma. Your Ava should be directed by Chachma. So you can actually feel the Chachma in the Ava. That the Ava is directed by it, and he gives Ava according to his wisdom. Then there's the Ratzin. So the will of a person is an encompassing light. There's no vessel for Ratzin. Where's Ratzin? Ratzin's all over. Ratzin is a continuous concept. It's an all-over concept. It's more of a Seva Kalama concept. It's more of an encompassing concept. Even though everything should be with Ratzin. That's why really your Chachma, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that if you had a Ratzin, your Chachma would follow the Ratzin. That's like your seichel, your intellect should control your midas. Your Ratzin ultimately should be a say that tzoyin chikir tzoyin. That's what the Mishnah says. You should make your will God's will. Because if my Ratzin becomes the will of God, my Chachma is going to follow it, and then my midas are going to follow it. Because Chachma mayach shal talalev is a struggle. Mind over matter is a struggle. Mind over heart is a struggle. But Ratzin, once a person has a Ratzin, ain't davar ain't mifnei Ratzin. Nothing stands before the will of man. If I could have a Ratzin to godliness, I wouldn't have a problem. My Chachma would run to it, my Bina would run to it, my Chesed would run to it, my Ava would run, my Yira, everything would run to Chachma. Everything would run to my mother. Truth is, Ratzin is such a powerful thing. We can have a Ratzin for not good things. We can have a Ratzin for Taiva. A Ratzin, a will for desire. Desiring things. So Ratzin is a very powerful thing. And it's sometimes so powerful that it takes over. As we know, you have people that have addictions. It's a Ratzin. They have such a Ratzin for it. And now they forget it. You can talk to them today to the morning. The Chachma is gone. So you have to be careful, Ratzin. That's why I said the Mishnah, say that saying Chakir, it's saying no. Everybody's Ratzin should be God's Ratzin. And then everything will be great. But that's Ratzin, the Seva Kalam, the consequence of the encompassing light, more powerful light. Instead of contracting itself to match a receptive capacity of a particular created being as that it animates, it affects even from within while remaining on its own level. It remains still from without. I gave you the example of Ratzon. Ratzon comes within, but at the same moment, it's an elusive concept. It's an elusive, like a taiva. What said, in Chassidus, a taiva. You can't ask a question on a taiva. You can ask a question on a chachma. You can ask, why do you have this understanding? You cannot ask a question on, this is my taiva, this is my ratzon. You can't ask a question. It doesn't make sense, a question. Because even though it's right there, it's something I can't explain. Ayin Sham Hativ, and understand it later, and understand it well. So if you understand what the concept of Seva Kalama is, the difference is Seva Kalama and Mal Kalama, you'll understand. Ultimately, you won't understand. You really don't understand your Ratzin. You really don't understand your true desires, why you have these certain desires. You surely don't understand what means when Mashiach comes, and Tchias HaMesim, there's going to be a revelation of Seva Kalaman. It's, as the Rambam writes, Ayin Oloi Rasa. Nobody has ever seen what that means. We'll have to Meniske V'nichya V'nira. We'll merit and we'll live Mitzvah Hashem, and we'll merit the coming of Mashiach and Tchias HaMesim, and we'll see what all this is about. That ends the time of the day. Today is the 24th day of the month, which is the Hallel in Tilim, chapter 113 to chapter 118. You do the Chitas of the day. The Rebbe writes in the 24th day of Elul, there was a time when a very brief saying one heard was regarded as Torah, teaching and guidance. And everything one saw was perceived as an instruction to his Avodah and conduct. There was a day, there was a time, as known by the Alter Rebbe in the beginning, he used to say very short, my mother, it was like a paragraph. Very short paragraphs. And that was his discourse. Later on, he realized that he needed to start expanding upon it. And everything needed to have longer drashas. But there was a time that everything was said very short, and everything was learned from what they saw. There was a time. Things have changed. I wish you all a wonderful and beautiful day. And Meir Shem, see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll continue to learn the Chitas of the day. Have a wonderful